Walking down Franklin right now, you can see that the crowd of several hundred is in the middle of the street right now.
Protesters took these dumpsters from local businesses tonight and set them on fire, chanting through smoke and tear gas, all in the name of George Floyd.
For some context between the two, that is about 480 bottles of this size. Up to 2 gallons right to your door. But even in the age of social distancing, they're gonna need to see that ID. Hoping to disperse and bring these signs to various downtown Eugene businesses to put them in the window like this one right here. An emergency budget pyramid with essential living expenses at the base, rent, food, car payments, and expenses that can wait at the top. They say he would make vulgar sexual comments in front of students and sometimes about them. It's like any other face mask, except when you put it on, it's designed to filter out small particles in the air. I was here this morning, and in the 8 hours since it opened up, the pace hasn't really slowed down. In fact, we found these 2 shopping carts across the street where we were parking, which is why tonight we're looking at what people are saying to distinguish fact from fear.
This intersection right behind me here is where Daniel was struck, and tonight neighbors who live nearby are engaging in an interesting sort of protest, crossing this crosswalk over and over again. A protest illuminated by fire. I can't breathe! I can't breathe! But starting out peacefully, getting out of hand as word spread over social media.
And I watched some live feeds on Facebook, and so I decided to come actually check it out.
Protesters livid at the alleged murder of George Floyd.
It's not black versus white. It's not black versus anybody. It is white and black and every other race versus racism. So we're going to come together. We're going to march peacefully. We're going to do whatever we got to do. But we will not have peace until there is justice, period.
Gathering at 7th and Washington, some blocking traffic and vandalizing property. This is one of the first fires that started this evening. Protesters took these dumpsters from local businesses tonight and set them on fire, chanting through smoke and tear gas, all in the name of George Floyd. The crowd growing to between 300 and 400 at its peak, some coming from Roseburg and Corvallis. As glass flew, some were astonished at the violence. Others justified it.
There's a reason why people are angry.
At 12:30, a first round of tear gas from police, only a temporary setback for many. Amidst the panic, one woman was leading chants of sorrow and rage at police brutality, but not condoning the violence.
I want him to be heard. He couldn't breathe. And apparently the cops couldn't hear that he couldn't breathe. And so we're just going to keep chanting, I can't breathe, and we're going to keep chanting his name.
Others looted businesses. We saw them stealing cell phones and setting fires inside a Starbucks. And then a march downtown to KEZI Square. A police line at the ready, driving back the protesters with tear gas. A night driven by pain and sorrow.
We're talking about we can't breathe, and we're burning holes in the ozone layer with all this trash we're burning up. So I don't see this solving anything.
As Eugene reflects on the state of the nation we live in.
We are the people. We are the police. We are the Army. We are the Navy. We are the Air Force. We are the judge. We are the jury. That is us. We are the people. So what we need to do is check ourselves.
Reporting in Eugene, Chris Lueneburg, KEZI 9 News. It was the day before Halloween, when volunteers discovered the secrets in a haunted barn of sorts.
It was very dark. The smell of ammonia just hit you very strong.
Many horses were inside.
Several that were what people call walking skeletons.
Investigators photographed everything. 61 horses, now evidence in a crime scene.
Just seeing them it was awful. It was the worst thing that I've ever seen or smelled. To be honest.
Nonprofit Sound Equine Options assisted for 12 hours as horror upon horror was uncovered. Stalls
filled with manure.
Half-dug graves.
There was no food that I saw.
37 horses vets deemed malnourished or starved, 3 of which were later put down due to complications. Volunteers unable to tell the world what they saw as criminal proceedings went on.
It's kind of the long game. It's not about the short game. The truth always comes out.
The seized horses were taken to 4 locations where they were quarantined and began the recovery process.
The horses are still being rehabilitated as they go home to their owners, are in foster care, or have found new homes like Ukulele here.
The improvements some have made are shocking, but months later, some still need some help. Sound Equine Options says caring for these horses has cost them alone more than $80,000. And as individual cases wrap up, they could take ownership of up to 15 horses, which they hope to find forever homes for.
They will all end up with the lives that they deserve, especially after everything they've been through.
An experience they say will leave some of these horses scarred forever. Reporting in Oregon City, I'm Chris Lueneburg, KEZI 9 News.
Yeah, isn't this something?
The allure of the Blue River drew Edward Henderson to move to town.
I mean, look at this place. It's like living in your own camping ground.
The Blue River flows into the McKenzie, which eventually winds up in the taps of Eugene Springfield residents. Henderson thinks it needs protecting.
That is beauty. I mean, you can't buy that.
It turns out you can buy that. A steep terrain tract of land was given to the McKenzie School District in the 80s with the hope that the timber could fund scholarships. Decades later, a nonprofit working to keep the watershed clean purchased the land with nearly $200,000 from an anonymous donor. That money now flowing downstream to the students.
What else are they going to do? I mean, we hate to see them move, but they can't see the world from Blue River.
District officials say the scholarships will be impactful.
We're pretty timber-dependent community, and resources have kind of dwindled away.
The conservation of the land, a massive bonus.
The Blue River Trail already heads through the land and all the way up to the Blue River Reservoir. Now this trail will be maintained as they protect the land from further development.
The McKenzie River Trust says preserving the land will put a barrier between contaminants and the pure river water.
It's just very important for us if we're going to protect the drinking water for the residents and also for fish habitat as well.
A partnership between conservation and education that Henderson thinks just makes sense.
And to think that they're preserving the area and giving scholarships to kids, my gosh, what could be better?
Reporting in Blue River, I'm Chris Lueneburg, KEZI 9 News.